Well, hey, Leslie. It's been a whole hour
Adele,
since I've seen you.
I know. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How
We
exciting.
are.
We have
Oh,
two teachers now for interview
I
this Saturday.
know. Isn't it like so cool? I just love it so much. And I'm so enjoying these interviews because we are getting such like such a great picture of like what makes them tick as artists. And it's just fascinating. Everybody has such a unique story to tell. So it's really fun.
Yeah, and for those that are just coming in, our first interview was with Patty Kalia. And if you get a chance, the replay is going to be on. It should be up now, I think.
Mhm, mhm.
So if you get a chance, take a look at that because her artistic journey is has been very interesting and she still continues. And we're just excited about her being one of our teachers. Now,
And
I also wanted to mention, go ahead.
no, go ahead,
That was what I
Adele.
wanted to talk about.
Yes, yes, I know.
We yes, we are experiencing a bit of delay in our conversations, so bear with us. Um, we don't know internet. You know how it is. We have a love-hate relationship with that, but we're going to plow through it. So, Leslie, you want to bring up our guest?
Yes, I am so excited. Lisa Renner is doing such a beautiful project for this year's Art Connection Summit, and I am just really excited for you guys to get to know her and get to see what she's created just for us.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
So, Lisa, tell us where you're from.
Um, Dallas, Texas is where I was born, and I've always lived in Texas. In some part, like suburb, maybe a little bit north. It's like I kept going north and north and north. But I'm in McKinney, Texas, and born and raised Texan.
And we can hear that in your beautiful accent. I love Southern accents so much. I just think they're so beautiful. And Adele has a
Oh,
bit of one
honey, I
also.
don't even. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Adele has a little bit of a Southern Mobile, Alabama accent too. So they're beautiful. I
I
love
heard
them.
that. Yes, I can tell.
It comes out every now and then. Well, we're just so excited that you're here and ready to get to know more about you and share that with all of our viewers.
Well,
And
thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I see we have Sandy already joining us. Hi, Sandy.
Hey,
Glad you're here
Sandy.
with
Hi.
us.
Hey, Sandy's from Alaska, Lisa.
I'm sorry.
Sandy's from Alaska.
Oh, nice.
Well, without further ado, let's jump into today's question. So, one of the things we love to hear about is like the artist, their history, like their backstory, like what goes on behind their work? What is their story?
So,
Well,
Lisa,
um, my mhm.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
We're experiencing a lot of delays between our conversations, ladies, so bear with us. Go ahead, Lisa. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was just gonna say, I've always been an artist. When my parents were not artistic at all. My grandmother, who used to live with us for a while, was in. She sewed. She taught me how to knit, which I never carried forward, but I do know the basic stitch. I can knit a really long stretch of straight. That's all I can do. But I know the stitch. What I really wish I had learned from her, I remember she would sit and tat. Do you know the tatting? Do you know what tatting
Hmm.
is?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Okay.
Hmm.
yes.
not everybody does. And so I wish I had paid attention and learned how to do that. That's the regret that I have. I remember her with her little shuttle and her beautiful lacy patterns that she would create and all, but she sewed all my costumes when I was in the school plays and everything. Still remember those distinctly. So probably that was maybe my first introduction to anything creative. And then, in high school, I did some drawings, and that's when I realized, okay, well, I can draw a little bit, and and from there it was just. I think I was in my late 20s, when made my first bread dough ornaments. That was my first experience with 3D clay of any sort, and I actually have one I can show you. They're very rudimentary, but this was made in 1989. And I called these little guys, I'll get it
The other
right.
way.
Sorry. I called these little guys adorables. And they were just little,
Oh, aren't those cute?
and so that was kind of my first introduction to doing anything dimensional. And from there, after that, when I discovered polymer clay, I was hooked.
And so, and then what like brought you to, so you talked about creating your bread dough pieces, and so what like started you like in your art career? I mean, when did you start to think about becoming like an artist?
Well, I used to go to all the time to a rubber stamp store. I have a gigantic collection of rubber stamps, and I made cards, and all of a sudden I started making additional pieces for the cards, and um, the owner of the store brought some polymer clay in one time. It was just, I think, translucent clay was the one I first realized, and we were stamping imagery onto translucent sheets of clay and breaking them and putting them onto the cards. And that got me started with adding dimensional things. And so my cards, I should have brought some to show you. My cards would just have just all kinds of these embellishments, like party favor blowers would be glued on with confetti and all this kind of stuff. And the cards were just no longer cards. They just were these big things. After the card phase, kind of, I went through that. I just started making figures. I just have always liked faces, and they've always appealed to me. My first drawings in high school were of faces, and
Yeah.
so I just started making faces, and then from that, creating the bodies for them. But it's always been in an abstract form, because although I really admire people that can do beautiful, realistic pieces of 3D sculpture, it changes. Something changes from my head to my hands when I'm doing it, and it just never comes out that way. So I've just learned to just go ahead and go with my own style.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Lisa, it's always so interesting to listen to people, how they evolve into their artwork. And what drives you to make your art?
I'm sorry, this internet is so bad. I did not hear the whole question.
Okay. We were just wondering what drives you to make your art? What encourages you to make the art that you make?
You know, I don't really know what drives me to it. I've always been attracted to, um, as I said, to faces, but particularly like stoic, serious faces. I'm pretty smiley all the time. Somebody asked me one time, "Are you sad inside?" And I said, "Not at all, not at all. I'm not sad at all." But my faces that I make are real kind of serious and not smiling. It's odd that if I ever make a face of a
Hmm.
figure with a smile on it, and maybe it's because I'm not good at that. Maybe it's because I can't really do that well. So I kind of stick to what I understand and what works for me, and just kind of real, just serious looking faces, I I'd like to do that because I think it gives the viewer more of an opportunity to wonder what's going on inside and inside that figure. And I like to kind of create that dialogue if I can, through my
Mhm.
work.
That's great.
I love that concept. And, when I look at your work, I just see such happiness and joy in everything that you do. So yeah, so I've never interpreted anything being sad. So I just think that your pieces are
Thank
delightful.
you.
So, yeah. So we probably will have some beginners joining us in this year's summit. And do you have any advice for beginner artists?
Yes, I'd say be okay in taking chances. Um, do the art that makes you happy and makes you feel good, and be prepared to take some chances because as artists, we all know I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but putting yourself out there artistically is scary sometimes, and especially if you're trying something new or different that maybe you haven't done before. It's we all want to be accepted, and everybody does, and we want our art to be accepted. But the bottom line is, not everyone's going to like everything, and so I know that's true. So, but I think you have to take chances in order to grow and progress. So I would say just be okay with taking chances. Try it.
I love that whole concept, like just play and don't worry about the outcome, do what's in your heart. And like you were saying, take chances, like step into the uncomfortable, and just experiment and see what comes up. And I like what you said about doing that because it helps you find your path or, your voice in your art. So I think that's really
Yes.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what we'd like to do also is we'd like to step into your studio just to get a personal feel about how you work. And Adele, would you like to field the next question?
Yes. Of course, we always have our favorite place to work in our studio and our favorite medium and also our favorite tools. And we were wondering, what is your favorite tool that you covet that you won't let anybody use but you?
Well, my I have a, certain tools. Not they're not a big deal tool. My I work with polymer clay mainly, and I also work a lot with encaustic with wax. So my clay tools that this is backwards for me. It's hard to this clay
Hmm.
roller. Of course, everyone that works with clay, this conical tipped tool is crucial, and you can see how much love received over the years.
Yeah, yeah.
And this little tool here, this metal. Okay, I'm there. This little tool here helps me with my. I bought this from a doll artist years ago, and it helps me. I use it for opening mouths, or if an eye is closed, open the eyes up. With that tool. Um, but as far as my wax goes, my caustic, I cannot get by without my encaustic iron because
Ah,
it I use
yeah.
this to I use this to as you can see, gosh,
Yeah.
to do what I call encaustic collage. I make books and things like that, and so the covers I use the wax for wax painting and for adhering the imagery to the book covers and things like that. I have little visual things for y'all. So this is one. This is what I do with my sorry, going the wrong way.
Um,
With my iron. So this
Yeah.
is all waxed on the surface, and I got really big all of a sudden. Did you mean to do that?
Yeah, yep. So
I did
you
that.
you got you have full screen, so you can really show
Oh,
everything off. Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, this is just so this is what I do with my wax. So I because I'm multimedia, I do a lot of books and figures and jewelry and I dabble in a little bit of all of it. So
That's
those are the
I
things
wonderful.
love it.
I really have to have is that.
And I think one of the really wonderful things about being an artist, when we're asked about like our tools or whatever, we pick them up and show them, and we don't realize how worn they are and how well loved they are until like we're showing it to people, and it's like, oh, should I clean this up? But that's the beauty of it, is
Well,
that it has
I started to
layers of stuff. Yes.
I started to clean this today
Yes.
before because I wanted to show you, and I went, why? Why am I
Yeah.
going to do that?
Right, right. Yes. I mean, and I think each one of us would probably think, oh, do I need to clean it up before I show it? Because, but that's our tools. That's what we use. And it has layers of stuff on it, that, I mean, we'd have to buy
Yes,
new,
it does.
Yeah, definitely. So
Yeah.
when you're in your studio, is there something else that you just can't seem to live without? Something that really makes your studio, like, you're in your studio when.
Um, this is not necessarily art related, but I have a whole wall of my children's and my grandchildren's photos in here on a wall
uh,
that I face because I sit where I'm sitting now. This is where I sit, and on the opposite wall, I've got the whole wall is pictures of my grandchildren and my children, and some dolls and things too, and some paintings that my grandchildren have made, and so that is I have that up there because I look at it 1,000 times a day when I'm sitting here in my studio, and that is probably what makes me feel most comfortable in here because I know I'm going to create, and I can't live without clay, and I can't live with my pasta machine, but that wall is really probably the most important thing to me in my studio.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
that's nice to
And
have pictures of our family in our studios.
yes, and it's bringing them with you always into your experience, and um, I find when I'm creating, even if I'm creating something that I don't know who it's going to, if I can think that it's going to someone, it's a connection. And I think as artists, we like to have some kind of connection, be it with family or potential purchase, buyer or collector. But
Mhm.
I think we work so in such solitude that it's still nice to have that connection.
Yes, right,
Yes.
exactly.
So, Lisa, in your work, out of everything that you do, what part of the process do you enjoy the most?
I think it's the idea that as an artist, we come up with concept in our head of what we're going to be doing that day or that month or whatever it is, and to see it come to life. Like if I'm sculpting a figure, and it starts with an armature, and then you've got your basic armature of wire or sticks or whatever you have and then as you build it, um, the once the head is done, this is for me, once the head is done and attached to the body, then I'm starting to see the reality of the piece, and the fact that when it's done and finished and I'm looking at it, the fact that is something that is and this is for every artist. I think that this holds true. The fact that it came from a concept in someone's head, and then all of a sudden it's turned into a tangible item. It is something that was not there before. It is a
Right.
piece of whatever happens to it, whether it just sits in my studio and never to be seen again. It was a piece that was made by an idea and not and wasn't there before. And I love that. I love seeing something tangible that came from an idea,
Yeah, I love that too
if that makes
because
sense.
you it totally
It
makes
does
sense.
make sense.
I find that to be, I always say that the idea is there and I just reach up and I'm just kind of channel it and then all of a sudden it's there. And how did
Yeah,
that happen? And it just, I think that is like the magic
exactly.
or the miracle of creating, it's wondrous. Yeah, I love it. And so, is there an element of your art that you enjoy working with the most?
Um, yeah, I'm thinking the actual art of sculpting and making the faces of whatever it is I'm making.
Hmm.
Because even my bird peeps, those have little, they're birds, but they have little faces, and I love the idea of making the faces, and because that's, to me, that's what gives them their personality, and some of them are, kind of, well, odd, and some of them are real happy. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just to me, I like that. I like the idea, the sculpting process of the faces and the heads, and when I do those kinds of things.
And I love how their little personalities just come out. I
Hmm.
mean, no matter what you do, they just show up.
That's right. You can't make that happen. I couldn't try to make it happen ahead of time. It builds itself. It comes on its own. So, and that's a discovery for me as well as I'm working, because I don't always see the end result. Sometimes that little bird or that figure tells me what it's going to be.
I think that's the case for a lot of us artists. We just, when we let it go, that's when, like Leslie was saying, that's when the miracle happens, and it just, all of a sudden, it blooms and it's
Yes,
there. And then you're wondering, how did it
right.
happen? Yeah, I did this. How did that happen? So when you're going through all of that, Lisa, when do you feel your piece is finished? When can you walk away?
Oh gosh. I think knowing when a piece of art is finished is an art. Because
Okay, that's true.
I don't know that I don't know that we always know. I I have left pieces and maybe feeling like, oh, it's not exactly what I want. Um, but I can force it if I walk away from it and back. Um, I did a a this kind of pod doll. It was just a bald-headed figure, and it had this big fungus leaf on top, and I loved it. But it wasn't. I just could tell it needed something else, and so about a year later, it didn't
Yeah.
happen right away at all. I came back and I decided that the face was too feminine for the head to be bald, but I didn't want any kind of fiber hair, so I just made a real abstract, almost little cap of clay that
Mm.
done kind of a red, orange, and stamped textures into the head, and then so left the fungus on it and painted the body black with these leaves kind of all over it, and it completely changed. I can show you if you want me to. It completely
Sure.
changed the whole look of it.
All right, let
Okay,
me enlarge
so
this. Hold on just a second. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
so so
Wow,
this
that's
doll
amazing.
this doll it was bald headed, and so I stamped. I don't know if you can see the textures. It doesn't matter, but
Yes.
it's all kind of
Yes.
abstract textures all over the head, and then the body. What was painted? It was, I used alcohol inks on it, and it was just kind of beige and muted tones. And so I decided I'm going to paint that black and just see what that looks like. And I liked it so much more after I did that. It kind of made it, cohesive. And Then I was able to say it's finished.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Looks
So,
great.
so
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. I think you can't always know when something's done. I just knew I wasn't in love with it like I am now.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we do. We just need to like put it to, like we were talking earlier with another artist, is we get so close to it that we almost have blinders on and we can't even see it anymore. So sometimes we need time, and it might be a year, that it just needs time
Exactly.
to come to finish itself up, and then we know what to do with it. Yeah, I love that.
Exactly. Right.
And
Yeah. Me too.
what sometimes some artists will come to a point where they get stuck. They have like a creative block. Do you, if this happens to you, do you have something that you like to do to kind of pull yourself out of that creative block?
Yes, I think like most people that have an occasional bout of that, the one thing is to of course walk away and not force it. And when if I if I'm on a deadline to do something, I really have found that if nothing's happening at all, I do have to walk away. But many times, if I will just get some materials out in front of me, for example, if I wanted to spend a weekend making something out of clay, but I don't have a concept, didn't have an idea, I can come up here to my studio, and if I will get out all my ingredients, my favorite ingredients, my clay, my rollers, my cutters, my powders, pigments, have them out and have them available within reaching distance, and then just kind of start to play. Many times that'll um, change that block. Another thing that I do is if I'm just not coming up with an idea, is I'll revisit an old idea. Like
Mm.
maybe I'll make new bird peep with a whole different body style or a whole different colorway, or the wings will be different or something. And then that will kind of get the creative juices flowing again. So I revisit a trusted design and then kind of work it from there. So that helps a lot too. But sometimes it's just not, when I'm in a block, and I'm not in it very often, but I have had those. Um, is maybe it's just not the day to do art.
Hmm. Hmm. I find
And then we
that
come
to
back
be
to it.
true. Yeah, that there's days where, I do writing instead, and then that actually helps my
Yes,
mind relax enough that I can get back into, like, like you were saying, the play mode, if, your curiosity and what's your play mode, and and I love the idea about bringing out, your tools and your materials and your mediums and everything that you use in front of you, because sometimes you just need a visual, just to like, oh, if I used this with this, I think that helps so
yes,
much.
right. Yeah, that works really well for me. And sometimes just juxtaposition, something will be laying beside something else, and I'll go, oh, I never thought about putting those two things together, and I'll get them, and I'll create something new out of that. That always has worked well for me in the past too.
I think those are fabulous. And we are now going to jump into your art and inspiration. And a lot of times, artists have like a favorite design or a favorite piece that they've created. And we realize that everybody is really individual and really unique. And like we were saying, a lot of times art is a non-verbal process. I mean, it's a physical process. Um, and then, is there something that you've designed that you just really love?
Well, I mean, I really do love the project that I'm doing for this summit. I have countless of these necklaces that I've made that I wear all the time. And so that really is one of my favorite things that I've done, and I'm not joking. That's really why I wanted to teach this class, because when you guys said the theme was color, I was like, oh gosh, it's got this. And I taught this class live one time before. It's years ago now, and the students were so fabulous, and the things they came up with, it was so fabulous, because they really were working like mad scientists, they were powders
Yeah.
and pigments and polymer, and everybody was just, oh, look what I did, and look, I'm going to combine this color with that, and it was just very fun and exciting. And so, I knew, so that is one thing that I really do love those necklaces, and I want 5 sets all the time. But as far as like figurative art and things, I really love my these are my talisman wizards, and they're odd and kind of strange, and I'm really drawn to them, with
Mhm.
their odd bodies and stances and all. So if I had to pick something, that I really like after all these years, because I originally made these, it's been, I think it was in 2012, so it's been 20 years now, almost. Nine, right? 10 years? 2012, not 10 years. So it's been, I still like them. I've never gotten tired of them. So it'd probably be those and my bird peeps. I love my bird peeps. They make me
Yeah,
happy.
yeah,
So
yeah.
my
I love
favorite.
both of those pieces, and we are super excited about what you're going to be teaching with us also. It's yeah. And
Good.
I think it's just so interesting that there's like I think with every artist there's like one piece that really kind of they feel like they've zeroed in on, and that is that like you were saying you've been working on these pieces for 10 years and you never get tired of them. It's something new always
Right.
comes with them, and that's a one thing about art.
Well,
Yeah.
Lisa, we are just,
It's
go ahead.
Go ahead, Adele.
No, I was going to say that your necklace for the summit is just amazing. In fact, when we were looking at it, we thought it was metal, and we couldn't believe that it was polymer. So, and just wondering, where did all of this start from? Where did this concept or this design come from? I'm going to post it so people can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just beautiful, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you. They're really a lot of fun. Um, I don't, since I work with polymer and powders, I have, a million colors of Pearl X. I have embossing powders galore. The the faux enamel technique really, it originated, oh gosh, I wrote an article. I don't have it in front of me. I wrote an article for Belle Armoire magazine on this faux glass technique. I called it a faux glass technique because I've taken a enamel class a long time ago at a college, and we worked on copper, and it was enamel powders in a kiln and all that, and I loved the service that it created, but I didn't want to, I wanted to do it at home. I didn't want to invest in a kiln and all that. So I took copper tubing and put clear embossing powder, dipped it in clear embossing powder to give it a glass like finish, and then sprinkled colored embossing powders on top of that, and then twirled it around and made these beads that looked like glass. They looked like enameled beads. And so that's where it started. I thought, well, I'm going to try it on a flat disc of clay. And I did that, and then started experimenting with just different colors and different brands of powders and all that, that was kind of how the necklace was born. The powder embossing powder, there weren't a lot of metallic, I mean, not metallic, pearlized, and so that's where I kind of got the idea of putting trying to make my own pearlized powders of embossing, using Pearl-Ex or any kind of mica powders and clear embossing powder. And that worked. The necklace on the left, well, the necklace, the 5 disc set that's showing right now, that's made with handmade embossing powders, with Pearl-Ex. The one on the right, the 2 disc set that's showing right now, that is made with both. I use some handmade, and I use some ready made on those, and they really do look similar to metal. And people ask me all the time if they're metal, and they're when you start making, they're really easy to make, and they're addictive because of the colors you can choose from. So that's kind of where it came from.
Well,
I
it's a
love
wonderful,
that.
yeah, me too. It's a wonderful palette of colors, and we were just
Thank you.
amazed at how beautiful they were. Thank you so much for offering that at our summit, and it does fit in with our theme. It's very colorful.
Yeah.
Very colorful. But you can do black and white. You can do neutrals. You can do metallics. You can do any colors you want.
I think that's one of the wonderful things about this is it's so versatile. I mean, you're not only learning a new technique, but it's like there's so much you can vary just within that technique, which is really wonderful.
Well, what you can do to this is, let me show you this real quick, because this was, after I did the necklaces, or made a necklace the first time, you can use them for embellishments. Once you make these cool discs, this was a doll that I did. I just thought I'd put a funky little button on the front of it, and so you can do things like that too. It's just not your necklace.
Yeah, I love that
That's a great
crossover.
idea.
It's, learning a technique and then how will it, what can I do to have it fit within my work? I think that's really
Right,
wonderful.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and as you know, we're very excited about having you come and teach with us. And we are wondering what is exciting for you to come and teach with us?
I am excited to. This is a whole new platform for me, and I'm very excited to. I've always loved us, but I think I'm going to be able to meet a whole plethora of people, like-minded souls, that I've not had the opportunity to meet, any other way. So for that, I'm really grateful to have been invited, to teach with you guys. You're doing a spectacular job already. It's just I
Thank you.
know how much work you've put into it. Just it's amazing. It's amazing. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you, Lisa.
Adele and I both really, as you can tell, we're very passionate about art and we're very passionate about sharing it with others. And just, our big thing is to connect others with art and connect other artists. Like you said, who knows who's going to come into your group, and I think that is
Right.
something that is really exciting. And so we're kind of, in a sense, cross-pollinating, and we're just opening up like new ideas and new adventures for everyone, which I think is really cool.
I agree, and I'm also just so thrilled to meet the other teachers in the group and take their classes.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all amazing. I just want to take them all. It's really going to be fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It is going to be fun. It's been really hard the last couple of years not being able to do live conferences, but Leslie and I are really making a big effort to make it feel like you've been to a live conference by having a lot of interaction, doing these interviews, and keeping a close connection in our community. So I think that has made the difference, and people
Yeah.
getting to know us as well, which
Mhm.
is very nice. So when we go into the summit, it's not cut and dry. You give your money and that's the end. We want to really stay connected with everybody during the whole summit, which we did that last year, and we knew how important it was to do that.
Right.
You know,
Well,
and
and I
Adele,
think it's going to be amazing.
another thing that I think is really fun is that we can, you know, going to a live conference is just really, really wonderful. But the beautiful thing about this that we found last year is we have people from all over the world. So everybody can participate, you know, and I think that is, so we can have teachers from all over the world, and we have, you know, students from all over the world, and presenters from all over the world. And it really is, you know, making this huge community, bringing us all together, you know, for this period of time, which is, you know, that was Adele and our, you know, one of our, when we first started talking about this, we really sat down and really discussed, you know, what are some of our key points that we want to hit, and that was connection, and that's why it's in the name, because it really is really truly making a community and a connection with other artists. And so you know, we appreciate everybody that's participating in it.
Oh, agreed. I love teaching live as well. Of course, because of the situation, I haven't been able to do that in the last couple of years. But I love you get there's a certain exhilarating thrill of having face to face with students and walking around the room and seeing this,
Mhm.
that, and the other,
Yes.
and having conversations like that. But the with that said, I personally love online classes. I love taking them. I take them all the time. I sign up. I to be able to download the class and watch it when I can. So I'm so happy that you guys are doing that, because everybody's schedule is different. I work full time still for a periodontist, and so I'm not able to many times be present during,
Mhm.
if the class was limited to, you can only take it this time. So I love the fact that you can download and keep those classes, watch them when you can, and that's what I do personally as well.
Yes.
So it's there's room for both. There's room for both
Mhm,
online to
mhm,
me
mhm.
and in person.
Yep, I
Absolutely.
agree.
You're so
Yep.
right. So I'm going to take this minute and brag on you a little bit, Lisa, because I wanted to show one of your pieces.
My spectacles receptacles.
I fell in love with this little
Oh,
person here. And I even put my glasses on it.
thank you.
These are
Oh,
great, Lisa. I'm sure they're going to be a big hit.
thank you, Adele. Oh, thank you. I had so much fun. That idea was truly born out of necessity, because
Yeah.
I did a workshop which I called my it's all in her head tool caddies. That was the name of the tins. They were just tins. And I thought, oh, that's the faces on those are big enough for glasses. I need a place to hold my glasses. So I just decided to put some kind of ears on them, and big exaggerated noses to hold the glasses, and I showed them to a couple of people, and then they said, put them on your Etsy site. So that's how that happened.
Well, I guess that fulfilled one of our questions, Leslie, that we wanted to ask about what was the craziest idea in your dream work. I guess this
Right.
is one of them, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
She's adorable. I love her.
Yes,
Oliver,
yes.
thank you. I'm glad you like her.
And so, Lisa, you know, we know you as a polymer clay artist and mixed media artist. Is there any other interest that you would like to share with us that you have?
um, yes, I'm an avid cook. I love to cook. And we plan our menus out a week ahead of time, because, as I said, I work. And so I've got to know kind of in advance what I'm going to be making. And so I cook every night. Well, occasionally we'll have leftovers if it's a big meal, but
Mhm,
I
mhm.
cook almost every night, and particularly on the weekends. And I have some foodie friends, and they're always willing to try something new. And so I adore it. It is one of my very favorite because, as if any of you are cooks, I mean, that's also an art form, and
Hmm.
I enjoy it. I play music while I'm cooking. I play music in my studio when so I love music, and my musical style is all over the place. I like
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell, Tori Amos, Dave Matthews, jazz, Frank Sinatra. All of it all
Yeah.
goes. I love all kinds of music, and I find it really inspirational when I am working. I like to have that in the background. Um, I like to I write poetry, and so I like to do that. I
Mm-hmm.
have That's kind of one of the I don't that's kind of just for me. I don't really
Hmm.
publish that or
Yeah.
bring that up very often. But when if we're asking what do I really enjoy, I do like to write, and I like to write poetry. Um, and probably those are probably the main things when not doing or not working. And of course,
Yeah.
spending time with my grandchildren. Got to say that.
That's always important. That's always
Yeah.
important. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, this has just been wonderful having you, Lisa, and we so appreciate everything you're doing. And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being part of our summer issue. That was very exciting to get to know the teachers and also to see what other things you do. It just brought to light other beautiful artwork that each teacher did, and it's a fabulous issue. And thank you so much for being part of it.
That that issue is just beautiful. You guys did a wonderful job with that. It's a treasure. It really is. It's just wonderful. So I'm happy to be part of it. Thank you.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. And it was a special issue that we had all of our
Hmm.
teachers in there. And we were so excited when it came out, and it's been well received. People are really talking about it, and it's for us too, because we found
Yeah.
out some things we didn't know about, some of the teachers. So it was a lot of fun to read all the different articles.
I think, yeah, I agree
I'm
with
sure.
Adele totally. Uh, Sorry. I agree with Adele on that too, because we get to see you, like, what else do you do and what else, and like kind of how you think. And I think that a lot of times as you know well, Lisa and Adele also, when you teach a class, sometimes you're just so focused on the project that we don't really know, like, what else the teacher does, what else, and so I think this is a really wonderful way of people, students coming in to, like, kind of like have like a private investigator, so they kind of know a little bit more about you. And I think it makes it just
Right.
really fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. I've enjoyed reading about all these wonderful women, and learning their stories and learning the things they like to do too. We're all kind of in the same boat. We
Yes.
all
Yeah.
Yes.
have varied interests, and then we zoom in and focus on something for a while, and then we'll zoom out and zoom in on something else. So yeah, it's been really fun to get to know people.
Well, Lisa, we are so excited you are here and really cannot wait to see what your class students come up with. It's going to be, there's a lot of variables in here, so it's going to be really fun to see the process and what they do. So again, we
I
really
go too.
appreciate you being here. Yeah, and joining
Yeah.
us this year.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it too. I really am enjoying the whole process so far, and I know it's only going to get better.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
you just don't know. Wait till you see all the surprises we got coming your way. We've been plotting and planning for over a year. Well, a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, here. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you,
Lisa, thank
Lisa.
you for taking time out of your day to share, yourself and part of your studio and, your thoughts with us today. We appreciate that, and
My
we
pleasure.
look forward to seeing everything that happens with our Connection
Me
Summit
Yeah.
this
too. Me
year.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Lisa.
you.
We'll stay in touch. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Okay.
Lisa.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Well, that was wonderful.
I know, and I think this whole process of what she's doing is going to be really fascinating for people. And like she was saying, the beautiful thing is it doesn't have to be a necklace. I mean, it can translate into other parts of your own art. So it's
Well,
going to be really cool. Yeah.
well, the funny thing about it, when I saw that necklace, I said, be nice to make one of those and do it as a hat. So I'm already, my wheels were already turning, thinking, oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I thought, not just an
Yeah.
earring, just do a hat. So
Right.
or
Right.
something, a bodice. I don't know. It was just such
I
a
know.
fascinating, interesting, and I just loved it. I loved it.
I
I
do
love all the
too.
colors too. So
And
yeah,
as necklace or earrings, whichever you choose, it's stunning. I mean, it is just
it is.
gorgeous.
It is.
Yeah. So I
Okay,
mean,
so
it.
that means we're going to take that class.
Well, we'll probably take. Well, it's going to have to be after the summit because
You
we
bet.
won't
You
even have
bet. You bet.
time to like jump in really at all. So,
I know.
but I
So
mean, we can jump
thinking,
into the Facebook groups just to see, like, just to peep in to see what they're doing. But yeah, we won't have
yeah,
time.
I can't think of taking any of those classes until later, that's for sure. But, our main focus has been to get all these pages done and try to open our registration. We know that we've been concerned about people getting their supplies before October. Some people it takes them a while to get all the supplies. And I just want
Right.
to, that's the main thing for us, is to get that going for everybody. And we need to talk about all the wonderful goodies we have. Well, we're not going to talk about all of them, but
Yeah.
some of them.
Yeah. We can talk
Okay.
about some of them. Okay.
So we are permanently right now this week in construction mode.
And we are in big time, full on, like working, like the lights are on at night working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24/7. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we even have our own hard hats. So we're
We do.
ready.
We are ready.
Want to give a big thank you to Susie. She has donated a beautiful paper doll to commemorate our 2021 ACS summit. And everyone's going to be receiving one of these, which is great. And Susie is one of our teachers. So, okay, so I am proud that I did make one, sort
Yes,
of.
and it's so cool. I love it. Yeah. I know, it's wonderful.
I know everybody's going to get tired of seeing my little paper doll. I have to do something different with
That's all right.
So let's tell them about the other gift.
Okay, so the other gift, I had to reach forward. Let me get in. If you are the first 200 to sign up, you will get this mailed to you directly. So you'll actually have something physical, and I'm going to open it up so you can see what's inside of it. So let me get on camera. So what's inside of it is...
Okay, let me put you full. There you go. No,
that's full view. Okay.
No, not yet. Not yet. Hang on.
Okay.
Now you are.
All right. Okay. This is all our gorgeous colors here. Let me just... So we've been talking about this all year. So you're going to get this. And on the back of each one of them is the spirituality and the symbolism of this color. So you guys will be able to use this in your own work. And even, I love it too, because you can kind of look at it and go, oh man, I love these two colors together. Like I've never even imagined using that triage of colors. So it has a lot of uses. So, I love the symbolism and the spirituality of all colors and stuff, but you can really kind of play around and, invent different palettes and see kind of what works for you. It has a lot of, I just think it's cool. And it comes right to your mailbox. I mean, it comes right to you. So it's the first 200 that sign up. When you sign up, you'll see a little place where it says, please send us your mailing address. And if you fill that in and you're the first 200, you actually will get this from us in your mailbox to you. So
Well, it's
So,
great. They'll be able to use it for a long time, leave it in their studios, and it's
right.
also a great reminder of the summit for this year. And we, like Leslie said, we wanted to do something a little different, just not all digital. So we're excited. We can't wait till you get
Yes.
it and try it out. Like Leslie said, look at the colors, mix them up, try to match them up, read what they're
There's
about.
all kinds of things, yeah, that you can do with it. So it's a little box of inspiration that will come right to you guys.
Well, I guess we have just said about everything we can possibly say.
Well, at
Well,
least for this
almost.
moment. Yeah.
Almost.
Just for this moment, definitely. We have so much more coming. We have oodles of things happening. So it's gonna be
Yes, we
great.
do. Again,
Yes.
thank you so much for being here, your encouragement, your support. It's been phenomenal. Thank you for joining the community. Our community is really growing. Every week we see 10, 20 people coming in, and it is just a great place to be. If you know of artists, have them joined. It's just a very laid back, high energy, a lot of energy, I should say,
Yes. Yes.
to
And
come in.
and it's a safe place. I mean, it's a
It
place
is.
where you can show your art. So you guys have a chance to like express yourself too, and you can show your art. You can share what you're working on. There's all kinds of stuff going in there, and it's even like, something that like strikes you like a flower. This is so beautiful. I have to share it with someone. This is the place to do that. So yeah,
Right.
it's anything that's related to art in any way that you feel that it is we love to see that in this group. So, and we have members from all over the world. And so it's just really fun. Yeah.
It is fun, and we encourage you to spread the word. And that's what it's about for us artists to connect. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate, again, your support, your encouragement, and we have a lot of fun things coming your way. Also, more interviews with the rest of the teachers gives you a little bit of insight about themselves and their artwork. So stay tuned. We'll
So
be
mark your
putting some more
August
information
14th.
out there.
Yep,
August
August
14th.
14th.
That's it.
August 14th.
Okay.
Yep, August 14th. Mark your calendars and we'll stay, like Adele said, connected to the group, and then you'll be able to see what's happening and what's going on. And, even where we are in the Art Connection Summit of getting it out there to you guys too. So again, as Adele said, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for being part of this. We cherish you. And again, have a great day wherever you are.
And we'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay tuned for more information. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
See you. Bye-bye.